Greetings, kindred. We are continuing our study of the book of Ezekiel. This was a study written by Pastor Lancelot Knight of the former King's Chapel, and we are in chapter 28, and today we're going to be covering verses 20 through 26, which will complete this chapter 28 of the book of Ezekiel. Okay, let's get started. This 28th chapter of Ezekiel is one of the most informative chapters in Yahweh's Word concerning Satan, for it not only tells us that he was created like all the rest of us, but it tells us how he operated in the first earth age and how he operates today in this final generation, which, if you have eyes to see and ears to hear, you will understand is very much like the way it became in the first earth age, right before Yahweh destroyed it. We also learn that the beginning of the end for Satan, who was once an admired prince of our people, all started when he became prideful and full of self, ego, and began to think of himself as being the provider to all of Yahweh's children. You can be sure he had every opportunity to repent and change his ways and return to the perfect ways of Yahweh that he once faithfully followed. But alas, he was judged and sentenced to die, to perish and be no more. That is why he is called the son of perdition. Through the manipulation of the powers of civil authority in education and religion and the economy, Satan caused 1/3 of Yahweh's children to become liberals and follow his systems in the world that then was, 2 Peter 3:6. But our loving Father decided not to hold judgment for those children who fell away, but rather to postpone it until after his plan of salvation was complete and everyone had a fair and ample opportunity to learn through the pain and suffering and death of the flesh that they will surely die, the second death, which is of their soul, if they continue to follow Satan. You see, our Father is in complete control, and we must come to realize that all governments and nations and peoples exist because of him, period. And nothing happens unless he has either allowed it or caused it to happen. The plan of Yahweh, which is so full of rewards for those who love him, also many times includes the just chastisement of people and nations. The reason is that his plan is a plan of love, call it tough love if you must, designed to bring back his sons to him, to salvage or salvation them, so that they might escape that same judgment given to Satan, which is to perish. Yahweh even gave his only begotten Son as the sacrificial Passover lamb to atone for the sins of all those who will accept Yeshua Messiah and believe in him and follow his commandments. So when we read of the judgments brought upon the peoples and the cities and the nations of the world, we must always remember that it is for one purpose and one purpose only, that they shall know that he is Yahweh. We are now ready to read about the judgment of Sidon. Sidon was the mother city which was located along the mainland coastline, just a stone's throw from the rock island city of Tyrus. Yahweh was against this city of Sidon, and she was overthrown along with Tyre. Here is a second witness to the demise of Tyre, daughter of Zidon, as recorded in Isaiah 23, verse 4. Be thou ashamed, O Zidon, for the sea hath spoken, even the strength of the sea, saying, I travail not, nor bring forth children, neither do I nourish up young men, nor bring up virgins. Sidon is childless now. Her little offshoot, Tyre, is history. Archive material. Clean out your locker. Check, please, i.e., gone. Verse 5. As the report concerning Egypt, so shall they be sorely pained at the report of Tyre. When Egypt hears about Tyre, there will be great sorrow. Verse 6. Pass ye over to Tarshish, howl, ye inhabitants of the isles. Get out of town and flee to Tarshish, men of Tyre. Now look what's left over there on that little rock island. Isaiah 23, verse 7. Is this your joyous city, whose antiquity is of ancient days? Her own feet shall carry her afar off to sojourn. Verse 8. Who hath taken this counsel against Tyre, the crowning city, whose merchants are princes, whose traffickers are the honorable of the earth? Here's a question for all you inhabitants of Tyre, even for all those reading Yahweh's word. Whose decision was it to destroy this once magnificent merchant's paradise? Verse 9, Yahweh of hosts hath purposed it to stain the pride of all glory and to bring into contempt all the honorable of the earth. Yahweh, Father of heaven, planned it for a purpose to abase man's pride and to show how worthless the things are that man considers to be greatness and splendor. Verse 10, Pass through thy land as a river, O daughter of Tarshish. There is no more strength. Sail on by, O ships of Tarshish, your harbor is gone. Verse 11, He stretched out his hand over the sea, he shook the kingdoms. Yahweh hath given him a commandment against the merchant city to destroy the strongholds thereof. When Yahweh gives a commandment against anything or anyone, it is as good as gone. He gave one against the city of Tyrus, and it's gone. He gave one against the king of Tyrus, Satan, and he shall perish when his soul is cremated in the lake of fire and reduced to ashes forever and ever. Now here is what our Father has decreed for the city of Zidon. Ezekiel 28, verse 21. Son of man, set thy face against Zidon and prophesy against it. Why was Ezekiel to set his face against Zidon? In other words, why was Yahweh angry with this city? Zidon comes from the root word zud, which means to fish, and so Zidon was famous for its fisheries. The problem is that Zidon also fished for the souls of men and used the bait of intoxicating religion to ensnare the children of Israel into idolatry. Do you know what her biggest contribution was to mankind? It is from Zidon that the sex goddess Ashtoreth, also known as Ishtar and Easter, has come to infect messianity. Is your church polluted with her symbols of sex and fertility, her quick like a bunny rabbits, and her Ishtar eggs? Yahweh specifically asked you the question in chapter 20, and he will require that you answer it, claiming you didn't hear him ask. You won't be an excuse when you stand before him. For there is no shortage of Bibles in our land, only a shortage of those who will read it and take the time to understand it. As a reminder, here was the question, Ezekiel 20, verse 30. Wherefore say unto thee, house of Israel, Thus saith Dabar Yahweh, Are ye polluted after the manner of your fathers, and commit ye whoredom after their abominations? Okay, I want to stop here a minute. I include the word Dabar Yahweh because I translated this from the word. Thus saith the word of Yahweh. Well, that word, the word is Dabar. So that's why I put that there instead of the word of Yahweh, Dabar Yahweh. This is real simple. Your fathers started the Easter thing among our people. This is just one example of the many traditions they started. Do you continue in their whoredoms or not? Yes, I keep Easter. No, I do not. Okay, check one of those boxes. Here is the record of our fathers seeking and serving the goddess of Zidon. 1 Kings 11:5. For Solomon went after Ashtoreth, the goddess of Zidonians, and after Milcom, the abomination of the Ammonites. Judges 10:6. And the children of Israel did evil again in their sight of Yahweh, and served Balaam and Ashtaroth, and the gods of Syria, and the gods of Zidon, and the gods of Moab, and the gods of the children of Ammon, and the gods of the Philistines, and forsook Yahweh and served not him. That kind of sounds like what's going on in Christianity today, doesn't it? They're worshiping Easter and Christmas, those pagan holidays. And it kind of tells you that Christianity is steeped in Satanism. But I digress, or do I? Here I go. Let's continue. How does one who goes to church every week and who does good deeds for mankind forsake Yahweh and not serve him? By not studying and keeping his word. If you don't know what he wants you to do, then how can you serve him? You can't. Perhaps you better begin finding and answering his questions. Ezekiel 28, verse 22. And say, Thus saith Dabar Yahweh, Behold, I am against thee, O Zidon, and I will be glorified in the midst of thee. And they shall know that I am Yahweh when I shall have executed judgments in her, and shall be sanctified in her. If our father left Sidon go unpunished, then they would take that to mean that their sins and their idolatries and their actions are okay, and that Yahweh doesn't really care. Wrong. He does care. Zidon, so get ready to receive your just rewards. Our Father is completely fair, and he is not a respecter of persons. Having a lot of money will not get you acquitted in his courtroom. His justice is justice for all, for he alone is just, and he will execute his judgments in righteousness according to his word, the word. Verse 23, For I will send into her pestilence, and blood into her street, and the wounded shall be judged in the midst of her by the sword, upon her on every side, and they shall know that I am Yahweh. Again, no matter whatever or whomever Yahweh uses as the physical means of chastisement, know that the true judgment comes directly from his sword, which is the word of Yahweh. Revelation 1 verse 10 and Hebrews 4:12. The reason he executes his judgment is so that his children will know that he cares and that he alone is their Father, to whom they should give their love and their loyalty and their honor forever and ever. Ezekiel 28 verse 24. And there shall be no more a pricking briar unto the house of Israel, nor any grieving thorn of all that are round about them, that despise them, and they shall know that I am Yahweh. There is coming a time real soon when there will be no more heathen nations round about the house of Israel with their briars and thorns of idolatry that cause nothing but pricking or pain and grieving, i.e. bitterness. At that time everyone shall know that he is Yahweh, the one who executed righteous judgment among the nations. Verse 25. Thus saith Yahweh, When I shall have gathered the house of Israel from the people among whom they are scattered, and shall be sacrificed in them in the sight of the heathen, then shall they dwell in their land that I shall have given. Then they shall dwell in their land that I have given to my servant Jacob. There will be a magnificent restoration of the whole house of Israel, Judah included. We will read all about it when we get to chapter 37. Verse 26, and they shall dwell safely therein, and shall build houses and plant vineyards. Yea, they shall dwell with confidence, when I have executed judgment upon all those that despise them round about them, and they shall know that I am Yahweh their Father. With confidence means safely, with securely trusting in him. Yes, Israel shall be restored, as it is written many times within his word. And what a marvelous time that will be. Here is Jeremiah's account. Jeremiah 23, verses 5 through 8. Behold, the days come, saith Yahweh, that I will raise unto David a righteous branch, and a king shall reign and prosper, and shall execute judgment and justice in the earth. Verse 6. In the days Judah shall be saved, and Israel shall dwell safely, and this is his name whereby he shall be called Yahweh our righteousness. Verse 7. Therefore, behold, the days come, saith Yahweh, that they shall no more say, Yahweh liveth, which brought up the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt. 7. So the day will come, the Eternal declares, when men no longer say, as surely as Eternal lives, who brought the Israelites out of the land of Egypt, but they will say, verse 8, as surely as the Eternal lives, who brought the descendants of the house of Israel from the north country, and from every country where I drove them, they shall dwell in their own land. That was the Moffat version. But, verse 8, Yahweh liveth, which brought up and which led the seed of the house of Israel out of the north country, and from all countries whither I had driven them, and they shall dwell in their own land. Yahweh our Father has promised, and it shall come to pass, as he has said, the house of Israel, along with the house of Judah, will be restored when Yahweh our righteousness returns. And what a marvelous time that will be for those who love him. Okay, that concludes this 28th chapter, the book of Ezekiel, and we'll pick it up next time in chapter 29. And I'm going to be posting this on YouTube. That channel is at Lily Valley 8844. And also, you might want to catch me on BitChute, Telegram, Rumble, and Odyssey, Lily of Valley. Okay, Yahweh bless. See you next time.